Hi, I film with my phone. I put it on a windowsill so it made it super echoey. Yes, the audio is trash. Yes, it stays like that the whole video. Okay, thanks. Damn. I really, got out of bed, got dressed and everything just to find out that I don't have my camera stand here. So this is just gonna have to work. I put my phone on the windowsill and it's bothering me, but it is what it is. Hi, what is up, you guys? My name is Rebecca. How are you doing today? So I don't really know how I'm gonna format this video yet. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't know how I'm gonna edit it. I don't really know how this is gonna work out, but I wanted to come on here today and talk about my experience so far getting a breast reduction. Whether you're a woman or shit, even a man, because I know they do that, who is looking to get one, or even just anyone, regardless of who you are, and you're just curious. Today I will be sharing with you my experience with it. My experience with it so far. It's been almost 3 weeks. What the hell is today? I don't know. I'm pretty sure today is Wednesday. I have my 3-week post-op appointment tomorrow, and then on Friday that will be exactly 3 weeks. Now 3 weeks doesn't sound like a long time in the grand scheme of surgery and healing and stuff. I've been feeling pretty much kind of back to myself for the past at least week, I want to say. I haven't been cleared to do much more than walking and doing basic things. I've been out with friends, but I can't go to the gym and lift weights and I don't know, pull a truck with my teeth. I am still healing. I have a long way to go. That being said, I just want to talk about everything that I've experienced with it so far. And by the way, I will be showing myself. I'm covering my nips though, because I just don't feel comfortable with that. It's not like I get monetized anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna be showing some of my scars and I'll also be inserting pictures just because I'm not gonna take off my bra and shit. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet. However, I do want to preface if surgery or scars bother you, then I would suggest clicking off of this video. Oh my god, I thought I had a fucking ghost in my room. That was just my foot. My bad. I'm making this video to help people out and just kind of give people some insight to this surgery, if they may just be curious about it or whatever. However, I do understand that there are weird fucking people out there. I'm just gonna say it, if you comment or say weird shit, you're gonna be deleted and blocked. But anyways, let's get started, I guess. I have this little book and I wrote a few pages of pretty much my entire journey thus far. And I feel like every YouTuber starts out with saying shit my room is a mess, my hair's a mess, I have really bad dark circles, and also apologizing, but I'm not sorry, and that's just what it is. So I basically just kind of wrote down a timeline of everything that happened. So this is all within the span of a few months. So July 24th, I was scrolling through Instagram just casually, and I saw one of my old classmates from high school. She posted a picture basically just saying I got a breast reduction and I feel great. At this point in my life, I had thought about it. It was in the back of my mind, but I figured I would get in the military first and then get it afterwards, just because I thought the process would be smoother, but doesn't matter. It was kind of just on the back burner, but I saw her post and I was like, why wait? There's a really cute dog. Oh my god. It's a little Frenchie. Oh, he's walking on the court. Okay. So literally I just saw her post and was like, why wait? And I decided that I wanted it sooner rather than later. So I started looking into it. July 27th. So I set up a consultation for September 14th, which, if you're familiar with the concept of time, is a ways from July, and the lady I spoke to on the phone didn't really seem too helpful. So I basically just told her hey, I have a referral, but no paper trail, and she was like, bro, what are you doing? This is a waste of time, but here's an appointment anyway. Because up until this time, I really had no paper trail. I always was aware that I had this problem. This is gonna sound dumb, but up until I had started thinking about it, I really didn't realize that that was the reason my back hurt all the time. I know for most insurances, they're usually you need a paper trail of at least 6 months. You need documented telling your primary that, this hurts. And I had none of that because I had never thought about it. I had never realized there was anything I could do about it. So I just don't really bring it up. July 28th. So the friend that I referred to earlier, she had told me a specialty kind of store. Before I was just wearing some old Victoria's Secret bras that were definitely not fitted correctly, but I wore them because that's what I had, and that's the largest ones that I had found. I didn't know of any bra store that ran in my size. I just assumed it fit. But once I got properly fitted, I looked back and was like, wow, how did I think that fit? The size that I wore in a Victoria's Secret bra, that didn't fit, but it it fit comfortably, but it wasn't like truly my size, if that makes sense. The size I wore was a 34, sometimes 36 triple D at Victoria's Secret. Now, I believe it is common knowledge that they size really weird. And I had gotten these bras like maybe 2-3 years ago, so I mean, I don't remember if they did or didn't fit back then. I just didn't really pay attention that much. And the girl that was fitting me was like, first of all, that is what you're wearing, a terrible fit. And also, you seem to be closer to a 32, not a 36. And she said, hold on, I'll be right back. I left with a perfectly fitting 32K. A 32K, that is the bra size that I wore and continued to wear up until this surgery. So that aside, it was around this time that it started becoming more apparent to me, and I started noticing like my back pain and shoulder pain more just because I was thinking about it. So I started to notice it a lot more, and I was like, I guess I do need this. I just didn't realize it before. August 5th, I went back into my primary doctor. Even though my annual checkup was a few weeks prior. But I went back in because I wanted to start like building a case for myself, like a paper trail, because I had zero. My primary gave me a referral to physical therapy because of the symptoms that I described to them, which were my fabulous shoulder grooves that I have had. I don't think they're real. Nope. They're still, well, you can't really see it on this side. They're still there a little bit because you can kind of notice. I can feel it, like the metal in my shoulder. For those of you who don't know, I got a surgery back in May. I broke my collarbone again because I'm a dumbass. Had a plate put in. Like, everything hurt before then, but I found it really hard to wear sports bras after I got this surgery because the straps sat, and even like my regular ones too, but it wasn't as bad. The straps would sit right on the metal and it was so uncomfortable and it hurt. I got headaches a lot. I had terrible posture. And like I said before, shoulder, back and neck soreness like all the time. Last of all, but it doesn't really help getting approved, but I thought I'd include it anyway, was the crappiest self-image. I don't remember many times where I would look in the mirror and think, damn, I look good. In fact, I would think more like, damn, do I look really out of proportion? I'm built like a rectangular prism. Poor self-image all around. Symptoms and self-image aside, as you can probably imagine, it's hard to find clothes when you're just like that. And like, okay, I understand everyone's different. Like, some people are tall and they have a hard time finding clothes. Some people are like super short and they have a hard time finding clothes. Like, everybody has their own struggle, I feel like, when it comes to that specifically, just because like the industry thinks we're all like, I guess, sticks. So I acknowledge like most people have some difficulty finding clothes. I get that. However, like, if I get something to fit around my waist, it's too tight up here. If it fits up here, then I look like a lampshade down here. It was a struggle trying to find things that fit and looked flattering at the same time. I wear t-shirts most of the time just because that's what I'm comfortable in, and that's what fit, kind of. I mean, even now, like, I wear mainly t-shirts, but they fit me better now. August 26th, my birthday. I had my first physical therapy appointment on this day, but I think she kind of knew from the beginning that this wasn't going to do anything. And I don't think I have it written down, but my insurance approved me for 10 sessions, I think, and I only went to like 4 because after the 4th one, she was like, okay, you need to go back to your doctor. Clearly this isn't helping. What she had me do, I found it did help temporarily, but then I left the building, got back in my car, and was like, wow, I feel like a sack again. September 14th. The day of my consultation. I was really nervous going in, to say the least, but they ended up being like way more helpful than I expected them to be, just because I think I had like that lady I spoke to on the phone in the back of my head the whole time. But they actually answered all of my questions. They seemed relatively hopeful that I could get approved through insurance. It was the surgeon, who was a male, and they had a nurse. It was them too. I started like telling them all the symptoms I was experiencing. And I was like, this and that, everything like sucks, but at least I don't have rashes under my breasts. And they were like, actually, you have some moderate discoloration under them. And I was like, well, okay. that helps, I guess. Add that to the list of reasons why I should get it and send it to my insurance. Thanks. And then he did that thing that like surgeons do where they're in the room for like 2 seconds, hand you a pamphlet, and then hand you over to the nurse. And then it was just me and the nurse, and she was like, okay, let's take some pictures so we could send them to your insurance. She seemed like she was really trying to do her best to like highlight the problem areas, and I just wanted to include that because I really appreciated it. After that, she goes, okay, we're going to send them in. It can take up to 6 weeks for you to hear back, by the way. September 17th, I was approved. So I called the office and set up my next appointment for October 12th. And the time that I spent waiting for that appointment was rough. This was basically just like a pre-op appointment where they would just like give me my surgery date, answer a few of my questions, and that was pretty much it. For some reason, my insurance just hadn't called them and given like the code or whatever, the reference number, basically saying that it was approved, because they're supposed to give it to like the client and the office, but they hadn't gotten it yet. So they were like, okay, just bring in the paper they gave you so we can, get the code, because we haven't gotten it yet. And of course I forgot the fucking paper. But I walk into the office and I was like, hey, I forgot this thing. Please don't kill me. And she was like, that's fine, send a picture of it later. How does the 30th sound? And I don't have to tell you what was going through my head at that moment, because I actually, as soon as I left the office, took some footage, which I look like a dumbass, but I'll probably show some anyway.
The 30th! That's in 18 days! That's the day before Halloween, but as if Halloween's not canceled anyway. This is unreal, dude. This is actually gonna happen. Wow.
I was so excited to get that date because I thought they would schedule it super far out, at least several months in advance, and pretty much the entire month of December I couldn't, so I was just worried that they would schedule it in December when I couldn't do it, and then I'd have to wait like an additional 3 months for their next opening. I don't know. October 21st. So I went to the hospital for pre-testing. I think this was probably one of the worst parts of the whole process. I was absolutely dreading the days leading up to this because I knew I would have to get my blood drawn. Shots don't bother me that much, but like getting blood drawn is just different. I sat down in the chair, they took my vitals, asked me some questions. So I'm just sitting in this chair for like 10 minutes, getting exponentially anxious because I know it's coming, but I don't know when, and I just want it to be done. Finally, a different nurse rolls the little cart thing around, and I just apologized in advance for everything that was about to happen. The nurse told me she got like the smallest butterfly needle they had. I look so stupid. At this point, I was already in tears because why wouldn't I be? Spoiler alert. It didn't hurt, like, at all, but I still cried. Then the nurse asked me if I wanted apple juice, and I was like, yes, mommy, and then I left and everything was fine. October 29th. So October 29th was my, I guess, last pre-op appointment. They did my markings. I don't know why they did it the day before, because from what I heard, they usually do it the day of. It doesn't really matter. October 30th. So I get to the hospital at around 7. This day was a fucking mess. So it was me and the person that brought me, and she just so happened to see someone that she knew who was a nurse, so she came over and was like, okay, here's your room. I guess I will be your nurse for the morning. So that just happened to work out. She like took my vitals and stuff, gave me like bags for my stuff and like the gown to wear, which was uncomfortable because the last surgery I had, I took off like everything except my underwear, but she was basically take off everything, and I was like, everything, and she was like, everything. So that was fun. I'd already been there for a couple hours, and then that nurse left and was like, okay, they'll come in and get you around 11 because your surgery is scheduled for 12, so they'll come get you at 11 and they'll start doing like the pre-surgery stuff. I was just sitting naked underneath this hospital gown watching South Park until 1:30. I had called a nurse in because I was like, did you just fucking forget about me? I've been in here for over 2.5 hours, longer than I was supposed to be. Is my surgery canceled? She said, oh, no one bothered to tell you that your surgeon had an emergency surgery and you were moved a couple hours? And I was like, no, that's why I've been sitting here since like 9. And she was like, well, we can, move your surgery to a different day if you don't want to keep waiting. And I was like, bitch, I didn't come at 7 a.m. just to go home with the same shit. I will wait. So I just fucking waited some more, and that was cool. I think it was around 2 that a different nurse came back and was like, okay, we're ready for you now. And I was like, thanks for telling me this time. They did the IV. I cried for that too. She did the IV. It was in my hand. It was very uncomfortable. In fact, it's very faint, but I still have like the little dot from where she put it. But yeah, they did more pre-surgery stuff. And the last time that I checked the clock, it was a little bit after 3, I think. They wheeled the cart bed thing I was on into the operating room. I remember getting there, moving to that table, and that's it. I don't remember them even telling me that I was gonna pass out. I was gone.
Hi, okay, so I just had my 3-week post-op appointment. I forgot the exact measurements. They literally just told me, I already forgot them. But they said about like a little less than 450, I think, for the one, and then like 424 for the right one. I'll put the measurements here. My insurance did require 500 grams. They haven't given me a hard time about it. Maybe, I don't know really how that works. The doctor said that like they couldn't do that because all that was left was like pedicle and just some tissue, and it would just be dangerous. So that's what they ended up with.
Next thing I remember was waking up in recovery with a male nurse who was basically just saying, "You did great, everything went great." Out of all the staff, like the hospital I stayed at, I stayed overnight. Overall, my experience with like the aftercare was very shitty. But of all of my stay there, this one bedside nurse was probably one of my favorites. Dude, freaking, I remember like as soon as I was conscious, just looking down and thinking, wow, they're so small. For some reason, I just decided to tell him that I was a 32K before, and he just like low-key started freaking out, and he was like, he like called some of the other nurses that were in there and was like, dude, look, she was a 32K before, like, look at this. I don't remember why that happened, but I just remember thinking it was really funny. After being awake a little bit, they wheeled me up to the room that I'd be staying. Again, I won't go into how bad. Actually, no, I will. This video is already fucking long. Why not just I'll sum it up because it was a lot. I had to ask a million times for a fucking cup of Jello, and I know you can't eat like right after you wake up from a surgery because you'll probably throw it up, but tell me why I was in that room for 2 hours starving. By now, oh, by the way, it was like well past 7 p.m. It was probably 7 or 8 by now. I hadn't eaten since midnight the day before, so I was starving. Tell me why I had to ask 2 different nurses for a damn cup of Jello and didn't get it till 2 hours after I asked. And the one nurse was like, well, you can't eat right after the surgery anyway, but that didn't matter because it had taken them so damn long to get it to me. Every time I used the call button on that weird remote thing, it took at least 10 minutes for a nurse to come in. I mean, I called them to like help me use the bathroom, but they didn't know that. You know those like compression things that they put on your legs after a surgery just to like prevent blood clots or whatever. So I had that on all night, and then I like went up to use the bathroom. Then she left, then I had to call her back in because I was like, these aren't working, the machine is just off probably. She goes, oh, it's dead, I'll get you another computer. An hour goes by, a different nurse comes in, and I was like, hey, I could have a blood clot. Can you fucking fix the computer? So there's a second nurse that I asked, and she was like, oh, it's dead, I'll get you another computer. 4 hours goes by, and they just didn't fix it. By this time, it was like the morning staff probably, because I didn't see those 2 nurses I had overnight again. So it was the third nurse, and I was like, hey, no one got me a damn computer. And she was like, oh, sure, let me check it out. This woman picks up the cord and said, oh,
they forgot to plug it in.
There were so many more things that went wrong, but those are just some of the big things. This isn't a complaint, but I just wanted to add, like, the first time that I did try to get up and use the bathroom after my surgery, I kind of passed out. My bed was right next to the bathroom door. I got up, went in there, took I stood back up, took 2 steps, because that's how far my bed was to the door. I took 2 steps, and during those 2 steps, I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I fell on my bed, and I was awake. It was really bizarre, because I could hear the nurse trying to talk to me, but I couldn't respond. I kind of blacked out, but I kind of didn't. And I felt like I was sleeping, but could hear everything going outside of me. I was like that for like a solid minute. I just wanted to include that. And anesthesia fucked me up a little bit. Speaking of things that happened while I was high, I took this sexy ass selfie and sent it to several people, and I have no recollection of doing that. So do with that what you will. Aftercare being terrible aside, I went home the next morning. The ride home was rough. I could feel every bump, every twist and turn, every pebble in the road. I felt it, and it hurt. But yeah, I just spent the next few days at home. Day 3, I'm looking cute. I have these vacuum drains that they gave me because I don't know. Recovery is pretty smooth so far. No, like I feel like I did the most intense chest workout of my life, but also like cut them open while I was doing it. This angle isn't really doing me justice. They're actually kind of small and I'm really digging it. Also, when I woke up from surgery and up until now, I feel like I got punched in the lip right here. It's going away a little bit though. One of the things I will say, I definitely overcompensated when I went shopping for post-op stuff because like I got a bunch of food to make sure I had things and I still haven't finished it and it's been almost 3 weeks. I didn't have like a sense of hunger for the first few days and then it started to come back and I would feel like super hungry and then I would take 2 bites of food and I was like, I don't think I want this anymore. But anyways, I was super swollen. I will insert some pictures here. But yeah, I was obviously super swollen. This, as far as I know, the swelling doesn't go down for like until like 3 months after. They looked like hella fake too because they were like super round at the top. They looked like implants. What else? November 5th, I had my first post-op appointment. I ended up driving myself. Thursday was day 6, I think, because I had it that previous Friday. And I actually drove the day before just to like see if I could handle it. And I could. I definitely want to say like this surgery was far worse as far as pain than this because here they were messing around with my bone. Like I got a plate screwed into it. And here like they were only cutting into like fat and tissue. It still hurt, but it wasn't nearly as bad. Like they prescribed me hydrocodone and they prescribed me 42 pills. I don't know why they gave me that many. And I took half of one the whole time, and the rest of the time I just took Tylenol. I just didn't need it, and plus the side effects, like they gave me the same thing for this surgery, and for this I needed it because it just hurt way more. The side effects, I remember how horrible they were. Like I felt nauseous all the time. Like I don't want to say some of the side effects because they're gross, but I just thought like if I could avoid taking the narcotics, then I absolutely would. So that entire time I took a half of a pill. That was right after I got home too. The rest of the time I took Tylenol and I was pretty much good. I only took it for maybe 3 or 4 days, I want to say. But yeah, I got to the appointment. They took off the bandages. This was probably also one of the worst parts of getting this done was when they had to take off like the sticky stuff that was holding it down. That shit hurt. But yeah, they took it off and this is when I really saw myself for the first time. The surgeon was like, "Are you happy with your results?" And I was like, honestly, you didn't need to take off the bandages for me to know and tell you that I love the results. Thank you so much. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, I did have drains, but they were more like vacuums. I figured I was going to get like, you know, those tubes that like you can see the liquid inside of them and they go like inside of you a little bit and they have to like pull them out. I didn't get those. I had like vacuums. So basically it was just like this electronic thing. They'd put it like on my incision and it would like vacuum out all of the excess fluid, except it would go onto my bandages instead of like in this container, so I didn't have to like deal with the whole emptying it out, measuring it thing. Those were a little annoying, just having to carry them around all the time. I ended up putting them like in a little bag and then like tying them to my pants so I didn't have to carry them around everywhere I went. They weren't the worst. Some people think they are, but I managed, but I was definitely excited to get them off. November 6th was 1 week post-op. I had an event to go to. It wasn't like anything too strenuous, but by then I started feeling pretty much like myself. Someone did end up hugging me. Well, I knew this was gonna happen, but she hugged me way too tight and that hurt. Other than that, like I didn't feel too bad. I felt pretty good, But after a few hours of like just standing and sitting around, I did start to feel a little uncomfortable. Oh, another thing, I had like the surgical bra. By then, I was wearing like an old training bra that I had during the day and then the medical one at night. I stopped wearing them both completely now. I just bought a different one. I'll just show you what I have. So I bought this. It has no padding in it. It doesn't have any underwire. It's just basically like a tank top. I bought it in an extra small, which was super exciting to me because I have not fit in that size ever. So I bought this in an extra small. I've been wearing it every day. I love it. It's by Joy Labs, and if I can find it, I will link it in the description below. But yeah, I really like it. It was $20. I've never paid that little for a bra before. And that's everything that's happened so far that I have written down. So I'll just put this away. Okay, I'm gonna show you like my scars. And again, if you are like uncomfortable with scars, click off. So that right there is like where it's oozing a little bit. You probably can't see it that well in camera. I look huge. What? They use like the dissolvable stitches too, and I still have like a bunch of it sticking out. It hasn't quite fallen out yet. Okay, so the scar goes way, where does it stop? It stops like in here, goes up and then around my areola. They did make it smaller, by the way. So far, this one seems to be healing a bit slower than this one. Shit, why not show you that too? Again, it goes like, fuck, all the way back here, and then that over, where does it end? I don't even know. And then up. I'm in that part of healing where like the scabs are beginning to fall off. So you can see like right there was a scab. It has fallen off. For this early in healing, I think the scar is pretty good. Even if they were like terrible scars and they were like super obnoxious and obvious, I don't think I would mind. Like, scars don't bother me. I have, like, this giant one. It did heal really well, but even if it didn't, scars don't bother me. And if they bother you, then I would just try and weigh out the pros and cons, because at the end of the day, I would rather have some scars over dysmorphia, hating myself, not being able to buy clothes, back, neck, shoulder pain, everything. Like, I'll take some scars, thanks. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And for anyone that is curious, I did measure myself. Before I measured around a 30J or a K. And now, or no, the day after my surgery, I was around a D, a double D. With swelling going down, I'm guessing I'll be around a C or a D. I just fit so much better in things in general, dude. Like, I had this bag in the trunk of my car with like a bunch of clothes that I was gonna get rid of, but just was too lazy to take to a place to get rid of them. So they've been sitting, and then I decided after getting the surgery that I would just retry them on. And I ended up keeping like a good majority of it just because it actually fit me. It's really awesome thinking that I essentially just have an entire new wardrobe without having to buy anything. I know I'm only 3 weeks in, but I have not looked back. I have zero regrets. This is by far one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Hi guys, so today I don't actually know what today is. Today is the 11th. I've been following the subreddit r/reduction, a group of wonderful women and some men, ton of useful information. I learned pretty much everything there is to know about the whole process through that subreddit, so I really would recommend you go there if you're interested at all. Most everybody posts like their experience with the whole thing. What I noticed was a lot of girls were experiencing like post-op depression, basically. You'd look in the mirror and be like, oh my god, my head looks so much bigger now, or like, oh my god, what did I do to myself? Like, you don't know how to process it because it's such a big change. I guess like your brain hasn't really caught up to it yet, so it's you see yourself and it's so different regardless of whether you wanted it or not. I mean, obviously they probably did. There's plenty of examples of people experiencing this, not everybody, but it was prevalent enough that I was trying very hard to mentally prepare myself for it, because I thought, like, as much as I wanted this and I knew that it was the right decision, it was kind of sitting in the back of my head for a few days, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna look in the mirror and I'm gonna be like, what did I do, or something like that. I'm day 12. I have experienced none of that.
None of it at all. I'm not saying, like, everyone's experience is different, of course. I'm not saying theirs is invalid or anything. I'm just saying that I have not personally experienced it yet. And what I'm trying to get out of that is that I'm very thankful for that, because, like, I have looked in the mirror dozens of times after having, even before I had my bandages taken off, or the gauze or whatever, I have had not an ounce of regret thus far, and I doubt I will. I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself. It hasn't even been 2 weeks, but I'm just saying, I can already tell you that this is the best decision I have ever made. Are they perfect? No, they will never be. But I am so much more in love with them now than I hated them before. I can finally look in the mirror and be comfortable with who I am and what I look like, and I can be comfortable in my own skin, and I couldn't do that before. Even with the scars, even with the whatever's there, the bruises, this and that, like, whatever makes them not perfect, I will take this any day, 1,000 times over what I had before. Thus far, and I think for forever, I will never regret this. Yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's all I wanted to say.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Just kidding. I almost forgot to include a side-by-side before and after, and that's, like, kind of the whole point. So, my god, look at me. Look at me. Why aren't you looking? Dude, the difference, though. Isn't that insane?
But yeah, I should really wrap it up. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below or DM me at Notreallyrebecca on Instagram. If you made it this far in the video, good for you. It's probably hella long. And also, good luck to you if you are considering the surgery. And happy recovery if you have had it already. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Again, comment any questions you have, or just tell me how you're doing. And of course, subscribe if you have not already. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!